coming up. So you do your first 2 fights, and then UFC 2011, I think you start going into UFC. You're coming up. At what point did the world kind of realize this guy's legit? What was the one fight that you had where everybody started saying he's legit?
I had a unique opportunity coming from the WEC. When I was signed to the WEC, UFC bought the company. So they merged all the fighters onto their roster. And a guy named Jose Aldo, if you're a fight fan, you know who legendary world champion Jose Aldo is. He was getting ready to fight a guy named Josh Grisby on a New Year's card in the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And Jose hurt his neck. And they needed like a tune-up, keep the guy ready for when Jose's healthy. And they called me. And I actually got the call. I was in the gym training on the mats when I got the call. So I was in the right spot. And they asked me to cut down to 145 pounds for this opportunity to fight the #1 contender.
What were you at that time when they called you?
I was fighting at 155 pounds, but I was probably 180 something.
So you had to cut down 35 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 120. That's right, 25 pounds.
Yeah. But when Dana White calls you and you're a young kid and this is going to be your first fight in the UFC, you say yes.
155 or 145?
This one was 145. I've never made that in my career as a fighter, amateur or pro, until that call.
When those fights happen, does a Dana call or does somebody on Dana's team call your camp and say, hey, is he ready to fight?
Usually it's somebody in the office at the UFC, but on these kind of things, Dana will call.
So Dana calls, and then who comes and tells you, hey, you got a big fight potentially coming up?
I was in the gym, so my coach, my buddy Tim, who was on The Ultimate Fighter, came and said, hey, it's happening, you're going to the UFC. And we kind of knew that because the company bought the WEC.
Got it.
So we knew we were going to be merged over, but I didn't know it was going to be that soon. You know, I might have had a few weeks to prepare. But I went in there, and you asked me when I felt like I got on the scene. I went in there and I unanimous decision over the #1 contender at 145 pounds.
That's pretty sick,
and made a big splash, yeah.
And that's 10 years ago. You were 21 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty insane to do something like that. Okay, so now you leave. Now you're saying, are you thinking, are you talking to guys saying, hey, listen, the sky's the limit for us right now? What are you thinking at that moment? That
win, out of all the wins, I've won the interim championship when I beat Max Holloway in Atlanta.
Sick.
Thanks. And that first win, getting my hand raised in the UFC for the first time, is still one of the best feelings, most memorable feelings that I've had, because I always thought I could compete with those guys. But to go in there and beat the #1 contender on short notice, I felt like everything was stacked against me. It really felt like, all right, like I can do anything here. I can be the world champion.
I mean, of course. I mean, if you're going with a guy like that at 21 years old, you're not even at your prime yet. Yeah. What age in this business is prime?
Everybody's different genetics, but for me, the way I look at it is you start off with your athletic ability to be high. And fighting is so mental. It's not only your skill set in fighting. Everybody punches hard. Everybody's fast at this level. We're all great athletes. Everybody works their ass off. There's a prime moment where the athletics here and the mind's here, and you start to age, and it comes down, and when they even out, that's when you're in your prime, and everybody's different, but now is my time right now.
You're at your prime right now.
Yeah, you're looking at it.
So, oh man. So right now, like, you know, who do you think you can go up against and win? Is there any fight that you would like to see happen where you're fighting?
I'm just waiting on the contract. It looks like I'm going to be fighting for the Lightweight World Championship December 11th in Las Vegas. Yeah.
And it's against
Charles Oliveira.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not been signed yet, though.
It's not been signed yet. They actually leaked the news yesterday, so it's starting to get out there. But I've agreed to it. December 11th, I'm going to be the world champion.
Very cool. Well, we're definitely looking forward to that. So if you like this little short clip from an interview I did, click over here to watch the entire interview. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.